Jeremy Swayman, Boston Bruins, joining us on 32 Thoughts, the podcast. How are you today? Thanks so much for doing this.
Good.
Off-season involved you going back to Alaska, true or false?
True.
Lugging goalie gear to Alaska.
Yep, that's a process, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Very worth it.
Are there many people for you to skate with up there?
No. See, that's the problem. It's that there's not too many guys playing pro anymore up in Alaska. The big swing with like the Gomez era and those guys, they're all kind of Yep, exactly. So when I go up there, it's mainly for focusing on off-ice stuff, getting the mind right, just really loving the hiking, fishing, biking, outdoorsy stuff.
So when you get back to Boston and the captain skates, are you like giving up 75% of the goals?
No, I come back early, because of that. So I start training, I step it up a notch as soon as the captain skate come around because I've been on the ice. So I'll do at least a month here before any sort of training, really gets going so I could start skating on the ice and stuff.
A lot of the players like at the end of a season, non-goaltenders, will take the first little while just to heal up. Are you the same?
Yeah, especially with the pro season, it's a lot different than the college season, right? So, we ended late and then start again early, and it's really important that you take that time and get your body right, fixing any tweaks or, bumps and bruises that happens over the course of a season, and then you come back fresh and ready to play again.
So what did you learn? Like your first NHL season, I should say, what did you learn that maybe you didn't, either you were warned and didn't realize how much of a deal it was, or you said, this is new. Like, this is what I wasn't expecting.
Sure. It was the travel and just the vigorous schedule is what I learned the most about, is how to, prepare for games and also how to recover from games and making sure that you're putting your body in the right position to perform at its highest level, because you're getting home late and then you're starting it all over again the next day early. And, it definitely takes a toll sometimes on the mind and on the body, of course. So, taking the off days super seriously and staying away from the rink, it's hard for me to do because
I would say, like, as a young guy, you probably are looking at, you're saying, I'm young, I can't be taking days off.
Exactly. And that's all you think about, especially with the college season. Right. And, that was kind of a gap for me to learn, is not, you don't have to skate every day because, if something's wrong, I want to fix it right away. Right. I want to hop on the ice, but that necessarily isn't always the perfect trick for it. So that's just what I learned from last year, and, what worked and didn't. And moving into this year, I'm going to use all the positives.
Throwing a dart here. Ballet?
Yeah.
Is that a Maine?
Yeah. I did it one semester at Maine.
What did you think?
It was the best thing ever.
Was it a course?
Yeah. It was a legit, lab, like a ballet lab. We were going into class every day.
What did you learn? And how did it help you as a goalie?
Well, the biggest thing I took away from it was the body awareness and how balance you can really, it's not just about putting 2 feet on the ground. It's, using your groins, using your core, using your glutes, putting your body in positions where these small, minute muscles are taking over, and you really have to have body awareness. So now you watch a ballet set, and it's like the appreciation level goes so much higher because they're pointing the toe the right time. They're putting their hips up in the right time. It's so cool to watch. So yeah, I'm really glad I did it.
Do you still do it?
Yeah, not as religiously as I used to, but anything with ankle flexion, I'm really into that. So anything on the bar, if I could do some sort of ankle flexion and working on range of motion with that, as well as strengthening, calves, groins, hips, that's what I like to do.
My new nickname for you is Black Swan. That's what I'm going to start.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie. Now, were there any other players Maine, or any other hockey players who took it with you or anything like that?
Yeah, we had 3 of us in there, and we were all set up for our recital, but then COVID hit. And so
that's too bad.
We had all the boys going. Yeah, it was a bummer, but there's 3 of us. There was actually a couple football players in there too. It was a scene. Yeah, it was funny.
See, I think 20 years ago everybody would have laughed and made fun of that, but now it's like, what's the big deal? They probably made fun of it anyway, but it's still a big deal. Yeah.
I think, it was just kind of a last minute thing. It was like an elective course. I already had all my business management courses done with, so I was filling credits.
Do you have any other players asking you about it? Because, listen, once upon a time, there were a lot of players. I remember talking to Jay Harrison when he played with the Maple Leafs. I was just walking down the street and I saw him coming out of a yoga studio.
Yeah.
And he's saying, hey, Matt Nicol told us it'd be good for us, but don't tell anyone. I'm a little embarrassed that I'm going to yoga.
Yeah.
So this would have been 2005. And now everyone understands how beneficial that is to you as an athlete. And
Sure.
I'm of the belief that you guys are always looking for some type of edge every offseason, looking for something different to give you an edge on the competition. You have other players asking you about ballet at all? Anyone curious about it?
It's funny. It's like my goalie coach Alfie up in Maine, Micho, he requires it for the goalies now. Yeah, so all the goalies are taking ballet the first year there. So yeah, it's kind of funny seeing how it worked, but I definitely do get questions, curious people. Like, I love it, right? And anything to give yourself an advantage or an edge, and like, it definitely was a mindset thing more than anything. It's like, I don't care what people think, I'm just going to do my thing and get my credits. But it ended up being like this awesome thing that I learned and took to my advantage.
You thought this was a hockey podcast.
Exactly.
Guess again.
I think this stuff is really interesting, but who would be the last member of the Boston Bruins who would agree to do ballet?
Oh, man. I don't know. Marshy would be like, I think he'd be kind of all over it, but I also could see him be like, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a slippery slope with him. Yeah, that'd be funny.
I heard you did a really unique drawing of him today.
Oh, man. Hopefully he doesn't see that one. It's going around the rink.
I have a feeling that he's going to see that one.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just so last year, your first year, who was the one shooter or the one player that you faced who you said, wow, like that's even harder than I thought it was going to be?
Sure. Well, it's hard to, pick out a single player because every player in this league can score goals, right? They can zip a puck, they can make a pass. Guys that not necessarily just surprise me, but like, they're the top players in the league for that reason, like a Matthews, like obviously an Ovechkin, an Eichel, like these guys can zip a puck, and that's why they're elite goal scorers for that reason. So,
maybe who surprised you?
It's like, I don't really look at a puck surprising, right? Like, I just want to be in position, but, you can tell when certain guys have like a harder zip or like less of a show presentation of a puck where they could just snap a wrist and then it's in the back, like, yeah, you don't want to see that, but, yeah.
I want to ask you about Tuukka Rask. I know this wasn't the best possible, like it didn't work out. But what was it like having Tuukka Rask around? I mean, we all know what he's done,
Sure.
what he's accomplished, his place in the game, his place in Bruins history, etc. What was he like for you?
Tremendous, and he still is to this day. I just saw him the other weekend.
So you guys keep in touch?
Absolutely, yeah.
Nice.
And we're gonna have friendship for a long time because when I first got in there, he was super outgoing and super nice to me right away. And I, presented myself as like an eager to learn, really enjoying the process kind of guy. And he kind of took to that, which is really awesome because it could have gone one or two ways, right? And every question I asked, super, receptive in it, and I was learning so much from him, and also just by watching him, just how he competes, how he positions himself, how he carries himself, and his mindset. I love it so much. So I definitely use him as an ally, and I'm excited to continue our friendship for a long time.
Are you a heavy metal guy too?
I play Rooster quite a bit by Alice in Chains now. Yeah. It was funny. Yeah.
Are the hugs coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're excited about it.
That's not just a 1 year thing.
Didn't expect it to go the way it did, right? Like, that was so special. But, I hugged him the other day in practice. It's like, it's not going to change, right? But, it was pretty special to see how it blossomed into what it is today. And, again, we didn't expect that at all. And, it's definitely going to continue because we love winning.
Jeremy, I'm just like, this summer, Bergevin had to make a decision. Krejci came back. I know you're still young, you're learning, you probably don't concern yourself with too much of this stuff, but how much do you think that the group as a whole was sitting there waiting to figure out what's going to happen with Patrice and what's going to happen with David?
I think it was going to, really play itself out. Again, like, I can't do anything about it. I can't control it. Guys, other guys can't control it. It's one of those things that, the player at the end of the day is going to make their decision, and we're going to respect it because every player in that locker room is tremendous, and we want everyone there, right? So guys like Bergie, Krejci, and Pasta, like, we need those guys in the locker room. We love them in the locker room, and I think that they love being in the locker room. And so we're super happy to have all of them together this year. And, again, that's all we can control, and we're going to take the most of it.
Your best Marchand moment from your rookie season?
I told this story like 3 times a day. It was my first morning skate in the NHL, like before a game. And in college, morning skates are pretty relaxed. Like, you take your time, you get a sip of water after every drill kind of thing. So I was doing my morning skate and Tuke's on the other side of the ice. And, it's pretty fast paced for morning skates in the NHL and pro in general. And so we did a flow drill, another flow drill, and then we kind of broke it up. Pucks were getting pushed around. So I'm like, all right, well, let's go grab a drink of water. Next thing I know, Marchand and Bergier coming down on a 2-on-1. There's no goalie in the net. I'm sipping water, and he is fucking pissed. He was screaming, and that was my kind of welcome to the NHL. Like, all right, this is what you got to do. And then I told him to this day, I have not taken a sip of water during practice ever again. And so it was perfect. Kind of stuck with me.
I really admire I admire that group of players. I've dealt a lot with Boston over the years in my job, and they're real pros. They run their room. They Bergeron, Krejci, Chara when they was there. There's a lot of self-policing there, isn't there?
Absolutely, and it couldn't be a better locker room to be a part of, especially as a young guy. And I want to be a part of that wave that continues the tradition because I'm learning so much right now, soaking it up like a sponge and practicing what they preach. And the biggest thing I learned from them is that you don't have to say much to follow them because they do everything, and you watch it. And that's what speaks the most to guys.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about Hampus Lindholm and Charlie McAvoy as a pair. Some great pairs in the NHL.
Do you ask for them to spend 60 minutes on the ice together?
Or at least 45 or something.
Off, boys.
You look like Makar and Taves.
Sure.
Great. Uyghur and Ekblad were special last year as well. And it seemed like right away, McAvoy and Lindholm instantly, right away, one of the best pairs in the NHL. What's it like playing behind that?
It's a pleasure to watch. I'll tell you that. They make my job super easy, very manageable. The communication on their end, they just know where each other is going to be. And then when I go behind the net to play the puck as well, I know where they're going to be. And that's really special to have. And just the playmaking ability that they have, being able to break it out of the zone by making one quick move, going to the middle, stuff guys aren't necessarily expecting when they're forechecking. That's the most impressive thing I love about those two coming in the back end.
I had someone tell me about Lindholm that the main skill that everybody misses with him is he knows exactly how much force to use on a check to separate the player from the puck. He'll never overextend himself on a hit.
Sure.
He'll never come in he reads how much contact he needs to initiate perfectly to come away with the puck. And this person I talked to said it's the most unique skill of any defenseman in the NHL.
I'll definitely take more I'll look at that more because you don't notice it because he doesn't put himself in positions, right? That's pretty impressive. I'm glad you pointed that out.
You worry about stopping the puck. You don't have to look at that.
I know, it's simple, eh?
Yeah. Stop pucks.
Yeah, let you hit him nice, and then I'll figure. Yeah.
Jeremy, is there anything you said now that you're a year in? Is there anything more that you expect of yourself in year two?
Absolutely, yeah.
Anything specific, like goals or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I set goals high for myself, but I understand that team success is going to bring along individual success. And all I care about is winning games for the Boston Bruins whenever I get the opportunity to play. Keeping things simple for myself is going to allow me to, one, take care of my body better, save myself for longer extended trips and stuff, just preparing, knowing what to expect on these longer road trips, and then homestands as well, and managing, different things at home, staying focused and driven. That's, all these really amazing things I learned this year. I'm super excited to implement into this year.
We all know this is a team that's going to start the season with some pretty big injuries, with some pretty big players, and it's going to take a while until everybody's back. Is there a feeling of we just need to keep our heads above water as all these players come back, or is it just no, next man up, we're here to win hockey games?
Yeah, you just said it. Next man up is exactly the culture we have, right? And we have tremendous prospects and players in Providence as well that have all stepped up. And obviously me being one of them, understanding the role that we provide is that we're pushing as hard as we can to get to the next level and be on the Bruins, right? And so we have guys that are all going to step up and definitely make, decisions hard when it comes to the roster. And that's exactly what we want. But yeah, we're missing some huge pieces. They understand it, and they're working their butts off to get back as soon as possible. And I'm seeing the strides they're making, which is so great. And, we're really happy and excited to get them back.
I'm good.
This is great. Jeremy, thanks so
you
much
guys
for this.
are awesome.
Good luck this
Thanks
year
very
with
much,
the
Jeremy.
Yeah,
with the
thanks so
Bruins.
much. Yeah, it's great talking to you guys.
Thanks.